Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for The Irishman. So The Irishman is a film directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, and Ray Romano, and it follows the story of Frank Sheeran, who was a war veteran that got involved with Jimmy Hoffa, who was this huge icon in the 50s and 60s for running a union with for truck drivers, and he got in a lot of trouble with the government. So it follows Frank Sheeran and his relation to Jimmy Hoffa over decades and decades of time. So The Irishman has been getting a lot of buzz, mostly a lot of Oscar buzz. A lot of people are pegging this to be a front runner for the Best Picture category, as well as Best Lead Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Writing, Best Director. It's looking like it's going to be sweeping a lot of awards this year. And I myself was very excited for this movie. It was my most anticipated movie for basically the entire year. I believe back in the beginning of the year, I said that The Irishman was my most anticipated movie of the year. So I was really looking forward to this one. Thankfully, I got to see it in theaters. I was in San Francisco, and I decided I wanted to see this one in theaters. It was important to me because I knew it was 3.5 hours, and if I saw it at home, it just really wouldn't be the same experience, and I wanted to experience it in a theater, unadulterated, for 3.5 hours. And I have to say that was a very wise decision. This is a great movie to see in theaters, and if you have to watch it on Netflix, that makes total sense. I only got to see it because I was in SF. It didn't come to my city. I doubt that it ever will, but it is a fantastic film. I have to say, this film really blew me away. It's not my number one of the year like I was expecting, but I'm currently putting it at number 4 of the year for me. And this has been a really solid year in film, so I wouldn't put that against it. I think The Irishman is absolutely fantastic. The majority of the film, the first 3 hours, are great. They're super well edited, super well directed. It's some of the best in terms of pure filmmaking that I've seen all year. But the last 30 minutes is really where this movie hit me emotionally. Don't get me wrong, the first 3 hours are very entertaining. They fly by, and the performances in this film are terrific. They are fantastic, and definitely Robert De Niro is going to get nominated. Joe Pesci and Al Pacino will both be nominated, and so far this year, other than Willem Dafoe, I think Al Pacino gave the best supporting acting performance, and I think that Robert De Niro is also up there for best leading performance. I mean, these guys are really putting their all into this film, and they're subtle performances for the most part. Even Joe Pesci, he's just stunning for every single second that he's on screen. And Martin directed and edited the hell out of this movie. I mean, it is quick, it is fast, it does not waste a second. It's not like every single scene is necessary, but you don't care about that. You are enriched in this world, and you want to see where it goes. But there's a certain scene towards the end of the movie, and if you've seen it, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. After that, the movie just heads in a totally different direction. I would say first 3 hours of this movie, great Martin Scorsese mobster movie. It's just like Goodfellas, it's just like Casino, it's like all the other ones he's done. It's fantastic. But the last 30 minutes of this movie, Martin Scorsese reveals so much about just his emotions. He puts his whole emotion into the last 30 minutes of this movie and delivers a punch I did not see coming. It really struck me, and it made it so that I was thinking about the movie afterwards for a really long time. It's such an emotional ending that's all about morality, that's all about mortality as well. That's just about what it means to get older in your life and look back on everything that you did. And really, it just struck me emotionally in a way I have not felt in quite a while. And I think since Roma last year was the last time that I had a movie affect me in this way emotionally. In terms of my problems with the movie, I think even though the first 3 hours is great and all, it did just seem like a few times I didn't really know where the movie was leading me to emotionally, and I wanted to know that a little bit more because I was like, this is great, I just am not currently emotionally attached to any of the characters. I know them well, and I'd love to have something emotional happen. I was not prepared for the last 30 minutes, but for the first 3 hours, it did sometimes feel like it was meandering, and I felt like I wanted to get some sort of emotion set early on, and I think if the movie did that, then the last 30 minutes of this movie would have hit even harder. But even then, this is just a fantastic movie. I definitely recommend it. Try to watch it 3.5 hours all the way through. I know that's difficult, but the ending will not affect you in the same way if you don't do that. Also, the song choice for the very end of the film, fantastic. I think just in general, this movie's use of music is really great. So in the end, The Irishman is just a fantastically put together movie. Everything technically you can think of, directing, writing, acting, costumes, cinematography, everything that a movie has, this movie does right, and the last 30 minutes give you a gut punch that you will not see coming. I will give The Irishman a 9.25 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for The Irishman. So, what are your thoughts on this film, or what is your favorite Martin Scorsese movie? Comment in the comment section below, and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.